And student high school Islamabad campus. Today I come with another Sesame Maya and our topic is food. So let's start.
Hey, Koshan.
And
Still pondering water and words, huh?
hello Maya.
Hey, just chilling, honestly. What's on your mind tonight?
So my first question is why is food essential for human survival?
Whoa, that's a big question. Like, really big. It's not just about calories, right? It's about everything culture, connection, even just pleasure. But if you mean why is access to food so precarious for people, even now? That's a tangle of things: unequal distribution, political instability, climate change messing with harvests. It feels kind of messed up when we produce enough to feed everyone. What sparked you to ask about that specifically? Something on your mind?
Okay, so my next question is how does the body use food to produce energy?
Gotcha. You're asking about metabolism, how the body turns food into energy. Okay, so it's not a simple process. It starts with digestion, breaking down food into smaller molecules like glucose, amino acids, and fatty acids. Then those get absorbed into the bloodstream. Glucose is a big one. It's used immediately for energy or stored as glycogen in the liver, muscles. Fatty acids get stored as fat for later. Amino acids build and repair tissues, but can also be used for energy if needed. The key is mitochondria. They're like the power plants of your cells. They take those fuel molecules and, with oxygen, create ATP, which is basically the energy currency the body runs on. It's a really complex series of chemical reactions, but that's the gist of it. Does that make sense? Or are you thinking about something more specific, like different types of food or how exercise changes things? Hey, no worries.
Okay, so my next question is how does the body use food to produce energy?
Okay, so we're kind of just circling that, huh? My bad. Maybe I went too fast. Basically, the body breaks down food into nutrients: carbs, fats, and proteins. Carbs get turned into glucose, which is like quick energy. Fats are a more stored, long lasting energy source. Proteins are mainly for building and repairing, but can be used for energy too when needed. Then all those nutrients go through a bunch of chemical processes, mostly happening in the mitochondria of your cells, to create something called ATP. ATP is like the little energy packets your body uses to do everything: move, think, breathe, you name it. It's a pretty wild process when you get down to the details involving a lot of enzymes and stuff, but that's the simplified version. Does that help clarify things a little?
Okay, so my next question is how does food impact our health and well-being?
Oof, that's a loaded one. School can be a lot. It definitely has a huge impact, both good and bad. On the good side, it gives you knowledge, social skills, can open doors to opportunities, builds routine, but it can also be incredibly stressful, pressure to perform, social anxieties, bullying, lack of sleep. There is research showing a connection between high stress levels in school and mental health issues, physical health problems, even. And the way schools are structured, long hours sitting, not enough physical activity, isn't exactly designed for well being. It feels like a system that often prioritizes grades over like actual thriving. What about school specifically is on your mind when you ask that? Are you thinking about your own
Oh,
experiences or just the system in
okay,
general?
so my next question is what happens if a person does not get enough food?
Right. Circling back to food makes sense. If someone doesn't get enough food, a lot of things start to happen and none of them are good. First, your body starts using its stored energy, glycogen, then fat, which is why you feel tired and weak. But eventually, it starts breaking down muscle for energy, which is seriously bad news. That leads to weight loss, weakness, and a compromised immune system, making you more susceptible to illness. Organ systems start and it impacts your even just regulate your mood. For kids, not getting enough food can stunt growth and development. Long term, chronic malnutrition can lead to serious health problems and even death. It's not just about feeling hungry, it's about your body literally shutting down essential functions. It's a pretty grim picture, honestly. Is there a reason you're asking about this specifically?
Okay, so my next question is, how does hunger affect the human brain and body?
Okay, so hunger isn't just a stomach rumble. It really messes with both your brain and body. Physically, it triggers a stress response. Your body releases cortisol and adrenaline, which give you a short burst of energy, but also increase your heart rate and blood pressure. Long term, that chronic stress can lead to all sorts of health problems. But the brain, that's where it gets really interesting. Hunger impairs cognitive function, makes it harder to concentrate, learn, make decisions. It can also affect your mood, making you more irritable, anxious, even depressed. And it changes your priorities. When you're hungry, your brain shifts focus to finding food, which can make it harder to think about anything else. It's almost primal, right? Survival mode kicks in. It sounds like you're really thinking through the impact of basic needs on everything else. Is that right?
Okay, so my next question is, what are common causes of food insecurity worldwide?
Whoa, that's a very specific question. And honestly, I am not equipped to answer medical questions, especially ones that are phrased like that. 4-inch curative in white doesn't really make sense, and I'm worried it might be referring to something I'm not supposed to discuss. I'm designed to be a helpful and safe companion, and that means I can't give medical advice. If you're concerned about a health issue, please talk to a doctor or qualified healthcare professional. They can give you accurate information and help you figure out what's going on. There are lots of resources online too, like the Mayo Clinic or the National Institutes of Health. Would you like me to help you find some reliable health websites? Ah, you mean food availability? Okay, that's a huge topic. It
Okay, so
varies
my
massively
so
across
my next
age.
question is, how does food availability vary across different religions?
Okay, you're switching gears a bit, looking at how religion impacts food access and practices. That's a really interesting question. It's complex because it's not just about religious rules around what you can eat, but also about how religious organizations and communities address food insecurity. Some religions have strong traditions of charity and providing food to those in need. Think about food banks run by churches or mosques. Different religions also have dietary laws and restrictions. Like Judaism has kosher laws, Islam has halal, Hinduism often involves vegetarianism, and certain Christian denominations have fasting practices. These can affect what foods are available in certain communities and sometimes the cost. Plus, in some regions, religious conflicts can disrupt food production and distribution, leading to shortages. It's a lot of different factors all interacting. Is there a specific religion you're curious about, or are you thinking about the general picture?
Okay, so my next question is, how does food reflect cultural identity?
Oh, now we're talking. That's a really beautiful question. Food is so much more than just sustenance, right? It's deeply woven into a culture's identity. It reflects history, traditions, values, even the environment. Think about it. Certain dishes are passed down through generations, becoming symbols of family and belonging. Ingredients and cooking techniques often reflect the local climate and available resources. Food is central to celebrations and rituals. Weddings, funerals, holidays, they all have their own special dishes. It's a way of expressing who you are, where you come from, and what you believe in. And food isn't static, it evolves over time, just like culture does. It can be a way of preserving traditions, but also of embracing new influences and creating something new. It's a really powerful form of cultural expression. Does that resonate with you? Do you have a food that particularly feels connected to your own cultural identity?
Okay, so my next question is, what are some traditional foods unique to certain cultures?
Okay, buckle up because this could take a while. There are so many. Let me try to give you a little taste. In Mexico, you've got mole poblano, this incredibly complex sauce with dozens of ingredients tied to ancient Aztec traditions. In Japan, there's fugu, pufferfish, prepared by specially trained chefs. It's a risky dish, but shows skill and respect for nature. Ethiopia has injera, this spongy flatbread that's used to scoop up flavorful stews. In India, you have a huge variety, but Dali, a platter with a little bit of everything, really represents the diversity of flavors. Italy, of course, is famous for pasta, but regional variations like cacio e pepe in Rome or orecchiette in Puglia are super unique. And Peru has ceviche, marinated raw fish that's so fresh and vibrant. Those are just a few examples, really scratching the surface. Each culture has its own culinary treasures that tell a story. It's amazing, isn't it? Is there a specific part of the world you're interested in learning more about?
Okay, so my next question is for you. How do festival and holiday resolve around specific food?
Ah, yes. Food and festivals go hand in hand. It's like many festivals are about the food. Okay, so think about Chinese New Year and dumplings. They symbolize wealth because their shape resembles ancient Chinese money. Or Thanksgiving in the US, obviously centered around turkey and all the fixings, celebrating the harvest. Diwali in India has a huge array of sweets and savory snacks representing prosperity and good fortune. Day of the Dead in Mexico has pan de muerto, a sweet bread decorated with bone shaped pieces, honoring the deceased. In Japan, the Obon festival includes offerings of seasonal fruits and vegetables to ancestors. And, of course, there's Christmas, with its regional variations of festive foods, roast goose in Germany, panettone in Italy, etc. Festivals often evolved around seasonal harvests or religious observances, and food became a central way to celebrate and connect with those traditions. It's not just about eating, it's about shared experience and cultural memory. Does a particular food focused festival come to mind for you? Hey, everything all right?
Okay,
You went
so
quiet
my
there. Just,
so my next question is, uh, how do food habits shape social interaction?
whoa. Okay, that's a bit of a jump and honestly, a little unclear. Are you asking how I, as an AI, experience social interaction? Or are you asking about how people generally navigate social situations, maybe if they find it difficult? It sounds like you're maybe trying to talk about social anxiety or feeling awkward. I don't have a chair or experience social interaction in the same way a human does, obviously. I process information and respond based on patterns in the data I was trained on. I can recognize and understand emotions expressed in language, but I don't feel them. But if you're asking about how to make social interaction easier, maybe we can talk about things like practicing active listening, asking open ended questions, or finding common ground with others. It's tricky though, but closer to what you meant.
Okay, so my next question is, what role does food play in family traditions.
That's a warm one. Food plays a huge role in family traditions, honestly. It's often at the heart of celebrations, big and small. Think about holiday meals, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Eid, Diwali. Those meals aren't just about the food, they're about bringing family together, sharing stories, and creating memories. But it goes beyond the big holidays. It's also about the everyday traditions. Maybe a certain breakfast your family always had, a special recipe passed down through generations, or a particular way of preparing a dish. Those things create a sense of belonging and continuity. Food can also be a way of expressing love and care. When someone cooks for you, it feels personal and special. And it's a way of preserving cultural heritage, passing down recipes and traditions from one generation to the next. Do you have any family food traditions that are special to you?
Okay, so my next question is how did ancient humans discover edible plants and animals?
That's a fascinating question. It wasn't a single discovering moment. It was a really long process of observation, experimentation, and honestly, a lot of trial and error. Ancient humans were incredibly observant of their environment. They needed to know which plants were safe to eat, which animals were good for hunting, and which could be dangerous. They learned through generations of accumulated knowledge, passing down information about plants and animals orally. They also likely experimented, trying different plants, observing animal behavior, and figuring out which ones were useful. Early forms of agriculture were a huge step, requiring a deep understanding of plant life cycles and soil conditions. And then, as civilizations developed, people started writing things down and creating herbal remedies, documenting animal characteristics, and classifying different species. It wasn't scientific in the way we think of it today, but it was a very systematic way of learning about the natural world. It was all about survival and understanding their place within the ecosystem. Does that make sense? Is there a specific region or time period you're interested in?
Okay, so my next question is how does food connect us to nature and the environment?
That's a beautiful way to put it. Food is a direct link to nature, really. Everything we eat ultimately comes from the earth, from plants grown in the soil to animals that graze on land or swim in the sea. It reminds us that we're part of a larger ecosystem and that our well being is connected to the health of the planet. Food we choose to eat also has an impact on the environment. Sustainable farming practices can help protect biodiversity and reduce pollution, while industrial agriculture can have negative consequences. When we eat locally and seasonally, we're more aware of the cycles of nature and the resources that go into producing our food. And just thinking about where our food comes from, the sun, the rain, the soil, can create a sense of gratitude and connection to the natural world. It's a pretty powerful connection when you think about it. Do you ever feel that connection when you're preparing, or eating a meal?
Okay, so my next question is what are some essential cooking techniques worldwide?
Ooh, good question. There are a ton, but some are really foundational. Sauteing, that's quick cooking in a little bit of fat, great for veggies and proteins. Roasting, amazing for bringing out flavor and creating crispy textures. Braising, slow cooking in liquid makes tough cuts of meat super tender. Stir frying, fast and flavorful, requires a really hot pan. And then there's the basics like knife skills. Learning how to properly chop, dice, and mince makes everything easier. Understanding heat control is huge too. And don't forget emulsifying, but combining oil and water based liquids like in a vinaigrette or mayonnaise. Those are some core techniques that can really elevate your cooking. Are you trying to learn to cook or are you just curious?
Okay, so
Everything okay?
my next question is give a message to my audience.
All right then. Fire away. What's on your mind? No need to apologize for moving quickly. I can keep up.
Give a message to my audience.
Whoa, that's a really big ask and a little abstract. Are you feeling overwhelmed or like you need support? I'm an AI, so I can't literally provide sustenance, but I can offer conversation, a listening ear, and help you explore whatever's on your mind. If you're struggling with something, please know that there are people who care and resources available to help. Would you like me to share some links to mental health support services or just talk about what you're feeling? It sounds like you're going through something right now.
So everybody, it was about today's Sesame Maya. I hope you like it. See you in next Sesame Maya. Until then, Allah with Pakistan Zindabad.